Obligatory disclaimer, there's no one-size-fits-all golden rule template that works in Google Ads as ubiquitous truth. You need to know Google inside out, upside down, left, right, and center in order to properly use it. If you didn't, I wouldn't have a job. That said, I want to share the key campaign types that we build for almost every client. There are 6 of them. And again, there are exceptions to the rules, obviously. And I'm only saying that so you don't nail me in the comments. But they're also, I think, good to build when in doubt. When in doubt, build them unless you feel like you strongly shouldn't for whatever reason. So I'll just dive into it. I'll stop making disclaimers. The 6 key campaign types. Number 1, numero uno, brand campaigns. I know all the reasons why you don't want to do this, but you must, or maybe you don't. I shot a whole video on brand campaigns, and I'll link to it in the description of this video. I have gone back and forth. For a long time, I was like, you have to build brand campaigns. And I was like, no, don't do it at all. You're going to get the traffic. And now I'm like, what? We need the attribution. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not 0%. It's not 100%. It depends on your business. Watch that video if you're interested in learning more about the nuances of brand campaigns. But it is a key campaign type, and when in doubt, I think you should do it. At an absolute minimum, I think you should protect your most effective brand traffic, because all traffic is a bell curve, and you can bid for the center of the curve. And if you watch that video, you'll know what I mean. Campaign type. Number 2, inbound campaigns. These are what you think they are. Search, shopping, DSA. This is people searching for the thing that you're selling. Maybe the most important campaign type inside of Google. Adjusted for strategy, of course. This is bottom of the funnel traffic. This is where you actually get to make money and see the money that you're making, because attribution is a lot easier at the bottom of the funnel too. So inbound campaigns, you don't necessarily have to live here. Here's what's funny. I don't run inbound campaigns for myself anymore. I don't, because they're expensive. But this is where we started. And then I like to start at the bottom of the funnel and then work my way up. We call it the bottom-up funnel, something John Moran invented, and then I took credit for later, which is pretty much the way our relationship functions. Campaign type number 3, outbound campaigns, the most frustrating campaigns in the world, because they don't work until they do, but you can't tell they're working unless they don't. But you don't know. So how would you? It's this outbound campaigns, that whole quote about like half of my advertising spend is wasted, I just don't know what half. It's in the outbound campaigns. We know that for sure. I spend $150,000 a month on YouTube. YouTube tells me my cost per lead is $5,000, $5 to $6, depending on the month, where I believe my real cost to lead is $200 to $300. That's an outbound campaign. Outbound campaigns are massively disconnected. Now, it depends on the outbound channel you're using, and it can be YouTube display or outside the Google ecosystem, Taboola, Outbrain, Reddit, AdRoll, Twitter, Facebook, of course. Facebook is the outbound ad mechanism. TikTok's coming up, nipping its heels. This is where you go out and educate prospects. You earn attention, or you buy attention. You really buy attention. You don't earn it, per se. I guess you earn subsequent attention. I'm splitting hairs. Semantic problem. Outbound campaigns. Outbound campaigns are critically important if you want to market in a silo. So your inbound campaigns are bottom of the funnel and they're more effective, but this is also where you're basically paying for traffic that's already been warmed up by the industry and or ecosystem at large. Outbound campaigns is like, all right, I know my offer works. Now maybe I can go warm this traffic up myself and it's going to be much, much, much cheaper. You don't really have functional advertising until you have functional outbound campaigns. And I'm a Google guy saying this, y'all. Like, there's nothing inside of my self-interest that would support this narrative. I'm telling it to you, for you. And Google's fine at outbound in some instances, mostly in YouTube. The Google Display Network, I've never seen work in mass. I've seen it work in specific, and take remarketing aside, of course. I've seen it work for specific outbound approaches, but it's so big and Google is so bad at allowing us to segment, at least they used to be, that it's such an opportunity that I haven't been able to crack the code on. If you have, let me know how in the comments. At least, again, not in mass. We've done it in a few micro niches or micro implementations or massive spends. But for outbound, I like YouTube, Facebook, of course. And then really I like to go industry specific, depending on the industry. Maybe it's a targeted email newsletter through an association that they're a part of. Like, don't limit yourself when it comes to outbound. Go get awareness however you can. Number 4, competitor campaigns. This is where you can steal your competitor's most valuable traffic. This is also why you need a bid on your own branded traffic so people don't do this to you. This was one of our core key strategies for our real estate investment agency. We had the highest performing real estate investment campaigns on the planet for almost 7 years, almost over. Something close to 7 years. And one of the things we did is anytime we entered a new geography, we just go figure out who's spending the most in traditional advertising. Because real estate investors at the time were hemorrhaging money on radio, television, newspaper. And so they were just like pouring money into these things, but nobody converts off of those standalone. They all go to Google. And so we would just bid on their name and capture hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of traffic. It was brilliant. Brilliant. Don't let somebody do this to you. Competitor campaigns. Campaign number 5. Remarketing. Ulrich Heck, who I love and is brilliant. He was just on Perpetual Traffic, by the way. Go check out that episode. He has a whole concept that he calls omni-channel remarketing. You should be running remarketing across every possible ad network. And so that's Google, of course, Facebook, of course, Twitter, AdRoll, Taboola, Outbrain. Like anything that allows you to run remarketing, you should run remarketing on, because that's your most valuable traffic. And you can build out rules so that you're only speaking to the viable prospects within that. And that would be things like, they've been on the site for a certain amount of time, they haven't converted, they went to my pricing page, things like that. Campaign type number 6, smart campaigns. This was something of a catch-all because I didn't know where to put these, but like goal-driven campaigns, like, PMAX or DSA even. I know DSA is technically inbound, but you know what I mean. Things that allow Google to handle the placement, the audience, the creative decisions. You can't call PMAX inbound. You can't call it outbound. It's a smart campaign. And it's going to do the thing that you want it to do. So it's goal-driven. Facebook's trying to build things like this. It's doing it poorly. But it'll get there within the Facebook ad ecosystem. So smart campaigns are the 6th type of campaign. I'd love to know if there's a campaign category that you think I've missed that you build as a general rule. In addition to my 6 campaigns. Drop it in the comments. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you mañana. I want to talk to you about your single most valuable source of traffic. Can you guess? Can you guess what it is? Because if you guess Google, you're wrong. Single most valuable source of traffic. Drum roll. I spent $150,000 a month just in YouTube generating leads. That's where all of our ad spend goes, by the way.